There are a lot of people that are using older names to name their babies, and so they're modernizing the older names. I'll give you, for instance, Beatrice. That sounds like an older generation name.
It does.
So they said, okay, to modernize the name, B.
Which I think is also older sounding.
B?
But they also said you could pronounce it Bia.
Really?
I was like, okay, that's modern. That's different.
So Elizabeth, they say, is an older name. I disagree.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Me and Ninja both are like,
And they say, okay, to modernize that, Betty, Liz, and one I've never heard before, Birdie.
You've never
How do you get Birdie out of Elizabeth?
I don't know. Elizabeth and Margaret have some of the weirdest nicknames. Like out of Margaret, you can do Peggy. And I'm like, where in the world did that come from out of Margaret? But yeah, so I don't get. Libby also comes out of
Where
Elizabeth.
does Pippa come from?
Philippa or Philippa.
Philippa?
Yeah, I guess
Really?
you can say it. There's an author whose first name is Philippa. So you can take Pippa out of that.
Scott's grandmother has a unique name. What is it?
Lucille. I'm
Lucille.
curious what that would be turned into.
Lucy, right?
Lucy, for sure.
Yeah.
Or we had a family friend that went by Celia. And so that could be out of Lucille.
Now, you know, my cousin
Mm-hmm.
called my grandmother Mama Seal
See, there you go.
instead
Mama
of Lucille.
Seal.
Mama
Right.
Seal. So maybe that would be it. Seal.
One of the ones that I liked
With
was
C.
Agnes, which is what they're saying, not me, an older name. And you say Aggie. I like Aggie.
That makes sense.
That's super
I do
cute.
like
I can
that.
see a little girl
That's
with a name
trendy,
Aggie. Yeah.
Aggie.
Helena or Helena, you can say Lena or Ellie. And Ellie's weird out of Helena. But
What about Mildred? What would you do with Mildred?
Maddie?
Maddie for Mildred?
Yeah, or Millie.
What was it?
That was my aunt's name, Mildred.
Mildred?
Yeah. Mildred.
And what did Ninja say?
Millie.
Millie for
Yeah,
Mildred.
And
Okay.
I like that. See, I think any of these names, the cutest nicknames can come out of them. But going back to Birdie, I feel like that's kind of an older name. What was that
Birdie?
out of? Was that
Your name.
out of Elizabeth.
Yeah.
See, that connection does not work for me.
Exactly. I see Liz. I
Right.
see Beth. I see Betsy.
Betsy.
I don't see Birdie out of Elizabeth.
Listen, I had a friend in high school. Her family called me Ebeth for a while.
Ebeth.
Hated it. I was like, can we get away from Ebeth?
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
So Brenda texted, said my mother's name was Lillian. Everybody called her Lil or Lily. So that's kind of an update. And then she said that we love the name Abigail. So that's what they named their daughter, but they call her Abby.
Oh, I like that. 800-447-7234. Here is Teresa. What about you, Teresa?
Grandma's name was Clarabelle. She didn't have a middle name, and she always told me that she hated her name because she felt like she was Clarabelle the cow.
Soon as you said the word Clarabelle, that's exactly what I had in my head was Clarabelle the cow.
And she always said that same thing.
I don't know Clarabelle the cow. Where does this come from?
Just an old storybook. I don't know more about it other than I just remember we had it as a child. We would read it, and she always cringed.
See, I remember it from a cartoon, and I can't remember the cartoon, but Clarabelle the cow was in it.
Yeah.
Now I feel like some milk.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
Just got an open mic in on his radio. It is Rob and Liz, the open mic from the My HISRadio app.
You're talking about people naming their children some old-fashioned names now. And my sister-in-law named their new baby Mabel. And it's an old-fashioned name, and it's just so cute. They call her Maybe or Mabes for short.
Maybe or Mabes?
I've got a little
like
picture
that.
in my head of what Mabel looks like.
Really?
Just a little brunette with little curly hair.
Yo, Mabes.
So cute.
I can see that. Yo, Mabes.
I know. Amy texted and said, Cynthia, you can update to Thea.
Oh, really?
I've never heard that, but I love that.
I do like that spin on
I
Cynthia.
do too. Okay, so Manette said my mama's name was Pauline, and everybody called her the nickname Polly.
Polly.
So it comes straight out. I wouldn't have thought about it, but it's cute.
It makes sense,
Yeah.
right? Kim's here at 800-447-7234. What about you, Kim?
I actually had a family member whose name was Roberta, and we called her Birdie.
But do you feel like Birdie is an update? Because I kind of don't.
Probably the only way you're going to do it, because I don't think anybody wants to be called Robert.
Yeah, no, none of us do.
Except maybe Rob.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
Jess went to a thrift shop because she is an artist, she's a creative, and she tries to save money. So she goes into a thrift shop. She's always looking for something kind of extraordinary, and she finds this necklace. She's like, that kind of looks like a Tide Pod, but it's so different, and it looks as though it's signed by somebody. I can't tell who the maker of it is. Anyway, she buys it. It's $1.99. A friend of hers recognized the artist's style. It's from like the 70s or something, and recognized the artist on the necklace. Ends up, after they fast forward and look it up, it's worth like $3,000.
And she bought it for how much?
$1.99.
$2?
$2.
$2 for a Tide Pod looking necklace.
And it does. It looks like the little jelly that goes around the Tide Pod, and the color's a little different.
Yeah,
it's a
I've
little
seen
more
the
pink.
post you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's on almost like a bangle or a choker kind of a necklace.
I don't know what that means,
Yeah.
but okay.
Well, it's going to be really close to her neck, up to her neck. So it's not really long, but yeah, about $3,000.
$3,000 for an iPod, not iPod. What do you call them?
A Tide Pod.
A Tide Pod
Yeah.
iPod. Hello.
Yeah, just don't throw it in the washer. It won't be worth much.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
Because I have family in Florida and still a lot of friends because I am Floridian originally. We've been keeping a close eye on the Weather Channel at my house. It's Rob and Liz in the morning, his radio. I have not heard back from my son or daughter-in-law just yet, but we were looking at the radar. It must have been 10 o'clock last night, and it looked like some strong feeder bands were moving through. They looked pretty serious, but my son will bring perspective later. He hasn't texted me back, which means they're okay. They're sleeping sound.
Well, but they are also first responders, and so
Right.
they might be, taking care of some things.
We would know. They
Yeah.
would have texted and said,
Okay.
we've been called to duty, and the kids are over at the grandparents' house. That's what they would have told us.
Well, I know that when Jim Cantori from the Weather Channel shows up,
Mm-hmm.
there's a storm about to happen.
Right?
So he's, I guess, boots on the ground, as you might say there.
So if you go to hisradio.com, you'll see a lot of tools that you can use for that. For instance, we have some ways that you can be prepared for the hurricane, since we're going to see tropical storm force winds coming through Savannah and through Charleston and Myrtle Beach. The tropical storm warnings are there. So we're talking about, 75 to 80 mile an hour winds.
Yeah, about
with the
that,
tropical storm
sure.
force winds. The storm surge looks like it might happen, not as huge like in the Big Bend of Florida, where they're looking at about 16 feet of a storm surge that could happen, 12 to 16 or even 18 feet of water. Not as severe along the coast, but still, stuff to be worried about.
So I've never been through anything like that, 16 feet. What is a storm surge, because you're from Florida, Rob? What does that
It's a wall of
even
water
mean?
coming your way.
So that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's not sustained. I mean, it's just a wall of water, and then it goes back, and then I don't understand.
Yeah, it's not like a tsunami, but
Okay.
the water comes in and the surge happens. So if you're along the coast, you better get out. And then there could be just a ton of water up to your waist. It depends on where you are, especially in the flood zones. And so that water can do a ton of damage, especially when it's coming in. So if it comes in like a wall, you better get boogieing quick.
Yeah, so that's why people get evacuated. And,
Oh, yeah.
Not only that, but then the homes and the businesses.
So many mobile homes, too, that people live in, especially along the Gulf Coast of Florida, where I'm from, at least.
Well, because you've got not only people that live there,
They retired there.
but
It's their second home.
they're retiring, or it's the vacation home for a family or whatever. But I also think and am praying for all the animals that are there as well.
Yeah, right. Which is one of the things that, bring the pets with you if you
Yeah.
have to be evacuated. And I mean, these are no-brainer things when it comes to the 8 things to be prepared for, but it is on the website. Good refresher course, especially if you have to live through the storm living along the coast somewhere. And so that's there. Plus, there's a lot of schools along the coast in the path of the storm that are either getting out early today, and then tomorrow it looks like a lot of schools will stay home but do e-learning. So it's all virtual school.
But I think the resources are good, too, if you've just moved, to one of those areas that's going to be affected. Maybe you've never been through this before in your life. So all those resources online, his radio.
Yeah.
You're listening to Rob and Liz in the morning.
His radio.
Legos. While you don't want to step on them in the middle of the night, there's something going on with Legos, and they're reaching out to help those who are blind and partially sighted children. And now it's touch-based, and they have braille on them.
Yeah, it's very cool, and they're saying that they're going to go on sale at some point next month. You're going to be able to buy Legos just like you do any other, brick kit. I couldn't think of the word. And they're going to be in braille, which is kind of cool. Then the kids can figure it out and start putting them together.
I love that they're doing this because it's hard to, especially with directions, if you're trying to build something. And now they're doing this to help out the kids so that they can have the Legos too.
Well, and also so they can play with their brothers and sisters or their friends so that they aren't kind of left out because they can't put them together.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
You're getting up, you're putting your creamer in your coffee this morning. There's all kinds of flavors. I was in the store the other day and I saw brown butter coffee creamer. And I was like, okay, I see you there. I picked some up. It's delicious.
Where is it?
It's for me. It's at my house.
But you can share.
I can. That's the thing.
That does sound interesting to me because I do like peanut butter. I don't know if it will be in my coffee. I mean, now, Scott likes what did you call it? Salty and sweet or something like that?
When I first heard about PB&J like creamer, I'm thinking the whole salty sweet, like salted caramel and a lot of those combo flavors out
Well, you're
right
a
now.
fan of
So
that.
I like it. Yeah, I do like the little salty sweet combo. So I'm thinking this would pair well, PB&J.
Well, there is a PB&J creamer. See, I saw brown butter. This is something totally different. Peanut butter and jelly creamer.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm saying there are so many different flavors right now, but it feels, I don't feel like I want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in my coffee.
I don't know why I thought when you said brown butter, I was thinking peanut butter.
Well, I thought, you like brown butter?
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
I don't know if you heard this, but the Idaho River, far from any ocean, right? Not even brackish water. They found a shark along its riverbank.
Yeah, there were some calls coming in. Hey, we got a shark and it's in the river. And I'm sure people are like, we're landlocked. How did that happen?
Mm-hmm. There's a thing called a salmon shark.
Never heard of it.
Right.
Sounds
and
tasty.
and it's a shape of a salmon, and then it looks like its nose is a shark. Mm-hmm. And it's got a fin that looks like a shark,
Like a
especially in the
hybrid.
back. Yeah, kind of a hybrid shark. They don't exist in the Ohio River, and now authorities are saying this is a hoax. Here's what they think happened. They think somebody they caught the salmon shark, brought it back home, and then put it along the riverbank.
Yeah, but there are bull sharks that can live in the fresh water.
Brackish water.
Brackish water.
Brackish water.
So I read something interesting. That bull sharks will tinkle in the water, and that's how they can survive in the
Really?
brackish water. I'm like, wait a minute, y'all swimming in your pee-pee? What's happening?
Mm-hmm. Sounds like the neighborhood pool.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
It's Rob and Lizz in the morning, his radio.
I don't know if you use Google Flights. My wife tends to use Expedia on a lot of that stuff.
I use Orbitz.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Google Flights, a lot of people are starting to use, and now they've updated some of their features, which seems to be very intriguing because it gives you the cheapest time to book the flight, and it gives you price tracking alerts and a price guarantee option as well.
Okay, so the time, is that when I'm booking or
The best time of day. It sounds like the time of day or night
to
for
fly
me.
out?
Or to book your flight.
Got ya. Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure I'm tracking with you.
Yeah, well, I'm tracking with
I
me.
wanna
I don't know. That's
get
the
that-
way I'm interpreting it. I may be completely wrong.
I just want to get the cheapest flight.
Well, then there you go.
Rob and Lizz.
His morning crew.
Once we get Hurricane Idalia behind us, there's something to look forward to for the big Labor Day weekend. And it would be from Krispy Kreme, and only for Labor Day weekend. We're talking Friday to Monday, Labor Day, the strawberry donut.
I've never had one of these. It's strawberry glazed because normally the glaze is it vanilla flavored or is it just sugar flavored?
Yeah.
That's on a crispy. I think it is
Sure.
just sugar flavor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one, it's Barbie pink So I am all about it.
For real?
All about it.
Is that why they're doing this? Is Barbie?
You know, I don't think so. I think it's a limited time, and they did it
feel like
maybe
they've
last
done it
year.
before.
I think they did it last year.
Okay.
But I never had one. But is it artificial?
What do you mean
tasting?
artificial?
Like, I mean, they're real donuts. But sometimes when you try to infuse that strawberry flavor, I
don't know.
It's like extract.
Let's check in with everybody.
Okay.
Let's see if Jake had one.
I have had strawberry donuts in the past, but not the ones that you're talking about. But I like me some strawberry donuts.
Okay, so not this.
Okay,
What about Ninja?
I'm looking forward to this. I really want to try it.
Okay, so haven't had one yet,
No.
but you will this Labor Day weekend.
Okay. I still think it's going to be artificial.
How about Scott?
I'm open to it. I love strawberry, but I'm
So-
worried like Liz is about the artificial flavor.
So nobody's had one of these before then?
But I haven't had one yet.
Yeah, because they had them last year, bringing them back for this year.
Okay.
Labor Day weekend only, the strawberry glazed donut at Krispy Kreme.
Okay, so if it was so popular the first time, they were out. But in this room,
Yeah, nobody's had it here, so
right. So was it really that popular?
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
The hip bone's connected to the rib bone. I have no idea. Rob and Lizz in the morning, his
wow,
radio.
that's a throwback to way back when in
Is
school.
it? I think they still learn
I don't
that.
know. I don't know if that's a thing anymore.
Okay.
The hip bone's connected to the whatever bone, and the
Yeah.
whatever bone's connected
The
to this
shin
bone.
bone's connected to the
All that
knee
bone. So I think Liz is mentioning rib because of Sam Hartman. I don't know if you follow college, almost said basketball, football at all, but Notre Dame's quarterback is Sam Hartman. And a couple of years ago, he had a blood clot, and they removed one of his ribs. Well, now they're getting ready to play against Navy. I think it's this Saturday. And so you'll notice that he has a necklace, and the necklace is a rib necklace.
That's so weird.
It's significant for a couple of reasons. Number one, because God spared his life. This is a blood clot, and they had to remove a rib because of this. Now, here's the part that's different for some people. That's actually his rib that was removed.
Okay.
But it was all cleaned up with peroxide and special enzymes and laundry detergent and stuff like that, so it's preserved.
Well, sure.
But it's like really significant to him because his life was saved
Listen,
through this operation.
I do get that. It's just like I'm not going to be, wearing my gallbladder stones on my necklace.
Okay, well, Liz just brought that to a whole new level.